So today I'm going to talk about or attempt to talk about and teach about the different types of energetic beings or spirits that we might find on Earth. And this can be a little bit of a complicated topic to really dive into because humans really have a hard time understanding beyond the logic of the human ego. Like we really think in like above, below, hierarchy, this is better, this has more value. Like we emphasize value and worth a lot on based on how things are performed or where they look or the effort, like all kinds of things that humans get really mixed up in why we're here being a human. But outside of the human ego, the concept of unity is all there is. So there's not a hierarchy system within the spiritual realm. So there's no spirit that's better or more important than another. Now, we may have different layers of frequency, maybe interactions that are different. We might even look at, like, for say, the archangels versus the guides versus extraterrestrials versus elementals. Like, there's all kinds of different spirits that reside within the universe. But according to the spirit realm, when we get out of this human body, there is no hierarchical system. I remember when I first learned this was several years ago. I was in a meditation and I had my guides come to me, and they were kind of standing in a like a semicircle around me. And about I have 7 guides that I work with on a consistent basis. We all have many guides, but some of us have one or two that work with us sometimes. We might have more come in and out during certain times of our life. If we're learning a lesson, a new guide might come in to help with us that lesson, or we have a mission here on earth that these guides come and they help. I know that after my dad transitioned in 2020, when he passed away from cancer, he became one of my spirit guides. So there's all kinds of interaction happening outside of our understanding of the physical realm. The non-physical realm has tons of energy happening at all times. There's not a single moment in your experience as a human that you are alone. You have angels and guides and support around you all the time. But this particular day, when I was meditating, all of my guides appeared before me, and there was one in particular that seemed to have a feminine energy, and she stood right in front of me, and the other guys kind of to the side. And in my logical human mind, I think, oh, she's in control, she's the head guide. So I remember asking my spirit guides, like, who's in control, who manages this team of guides? And I remember in like my ability to comprehend their communication with me, they kind of all looked at each other and were like, what is she talking about? Who's in control? What does she mean by who's in control? And I remember this main guide that I thought was the main guide. Now that I understand a little bit more, that I've been in this longer, is my higher self. She looks at me and she says, no one's in control. We are one unit. We're in unison. The synchronization, the unity consciousness is one. We just each hold a different energy that works with you. So one energy might be helping me with my spiritual gifts. One energy might be helping me learn what I'm here to learn on earth. One energy might be helping me with my life path and what the next step is for me. So they all have a purpose, but there's no more important than the other in the spiritual realm. So I want to emphasize that before I dive into this, because for humans to hear these things, they think, oh, well, that person's more important because they're this kind of spirit, and this person's less important because they're not. This is not the case at all. everything works as one unison. And everything, if you pull it back far enough and you look at it as a larger scale or from a universal perspective, everything has its purpose and everything comes from source energy, God. So if you've heard about my experiences of seeing energy or seeing God, we'll say, and where souls are created, we all come from the same place. We are just a replica or a frequency that comes out of this God energy and then goes out into the universe and has an experience. So there's no right or wrong or better or worse or in charge and not in charge. There's order within the universe. The universe is very like creative in how it keeps order, but there's no control the way that we perceive it to be as a human. And that can be hard to understand. So when I talk about this, I don't want you to get in your mind and think, well, I'm not as important as somebody else. So I just really want to emphasize that. But I'm going to share the different types of spirits that I'm aware of at this time that could be on earth that are actually in a human body. So there are, and I'll just name these just to start, and then I'll go back through these. So there are earthbound spirits. There are spirits that come to strictly be a human. They don't have any connection with anything other than just being a human. And I will go into this a little bit deeper about how that might be different from these other spirits. Then there's angelic beings. There's angelic spirits that come to reside in a human body that are connected to the angelic realm. Then there are interdimensional spirits or hybrid spirits. These are spirits that might be connecting more to an extraterrestrial being, so another planetary system. And these are kind of the main spirits that I know of that are in the human experience or body. There are other spirits on earth, such as elementals, and guides, and like all kinds of things. Like I said, there's so much in the non-physical realm that we cannot really fully comprehend it. But for just this particular video, I want to focus just on those spirits that might reside in a human body. So let's start with the earthbound spirit. Earthbound spirits are spirits that come from the oversoul. So if we were to draw a picture of the oversoul sharing a part of itself into an experience, I want you to imagine that there is this ball of light, and this ball of light is your higher conscious mind. That ball of light always is. There's no end and no beginning to that ball of light. This light represents your highest consciousness mind, your higher self, your oversoul. Your oversoul has multiple experiences is having at the same time, but we are only focused on one of those, and that's the human experience in this timeline that we're in right now. But the interesting thing is that energy of your higher self could be having multiple human experiences at the same time. And they could be in this timeline. So there could be two humans on earth that hold the frequency of your higher self at the same time that you're on earth. And there could be parts of you in other timelines. So for me, this video is being created in 2026, but there could be a version of me from my higher self in the 1800s or in the 1600s, experiencing itself in that realm, in that timeline. So an earthbound spirit is a spirit of frequency that, like, if you could picture in your head this ball of energy shooting a lightning bolt out of it down into a physical body, that is your soul. So the spirit creates a soul. The soul is what has the experience, but there's always a connection. There's a cord that is attached from our crown to our higher self at all times that we're in the human body. And that is what connects us to the oversoul. So when we talk about listening to our intuition, listening to our higher self, getting to know ourselves beyond the human experience, this is what we're getting to know, is our higher consciousness, the part of us that knows everything, sees everything, the most wise part of who you are. There's no end or no beginning to that part of yourself. And that cannot be something a human mind can wrap around at all. So her earthbound spirit doesn't really come to earth to do anything except for be a human. It wants to come and have a relationship. It wants to come and work. It wants to come survive. It wants to come climb the ladder of success. It wants to feel what it feels like to be a physical being. It wants to have all the physical experiences. It wants to know, what does it feel like to be drunk? What does it feel like to have sex? What does it feel like to be poor? What does it feel like to be rich? What does it feel like to have an expression in the physical realm? And all of it is beautiful. It's all important because that reports back to your higher conscious mind. And if you could imagine, your higher conscious mind is a energy field that expands, and the more knowledge it gets, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's like source, God, creating more of itself. So a earthbound spirit, it's not any less or better or not as important as any other spirit I'm going to talk about, but earthbound spirits are just spirits that want to just come and ground into a physical body, present day-to-day life, and focus on the practical, real, observable, physical experience here on earth. And if you run across somebody that is just an earth spirit, somebody that just came to be an earth spirit, they're not maybe going to be interested in spiritual concepts. They might be an atheist. They might actually be religious or go to church, or they might just be having a unique experience where they're not like super focused on a purpose or a mission. Like they may not have an inner dialogue that teaches them, oh, I have a life purpose, or I have a calling, or this is something I feel pulled to do while I'm here. The pulling to do something is something they wanted to learn. Maybe, like I said before, I want to go to Earth and be a human and experience what it's like to make a whole bunch of money, or to be really poor, or to be in this experience where I marry somebody and we get divorced. Like all kinds of things could be going on in that earthbound spirit. Earthbound spirits are capable of ascending and growing and enhancing their energy. It's not that they are stuck on earth. There is no really ability to stay permanently stuck on earth. Free will exists in the human realm and in the spiritual realm. Every spirit has free will. So the free will shifts and changes based on the dimension that you're in. But I'll go into that with another video. But this experience, you can grow into a higher conscious awareness as a earthbound spirit. And I do believe that we are seeing a lot of earthbound spirits who are residing in human bodies learning about themselves and expanding the ability to understand, oh, I'm not just a human. Like, I also have a part of myself that's non-physical. I am a spirit. I come from something beyond this experience. So that's the first type of spirit that I want to share with you. And so if you think that that's you, maybe you are just going through life trying to survive. That is totally okay. That is supportive, beneficial, and helpful for the human experience. It's a part of the evolution of the earth, and it's a part of the big puzzle piece of the universe. So there's no better or worse or hierarchical in this system. It's just experiences. Now, the other type of spirit that I want to talk about is an angelic spirit. So these are spirits that might be connected more so to the angelic realm. Now, this is just based on what I have been told by the spirits that I have worked with, but they explained to me that there have always been humans on earth that held an angelic energy about them. And the reason for that is because the angelic beings that incarnate as a human hold a frequency and a light that come into the human earth to keep balance for those earthbound spirits that maybe move a little bit more into the ego, into that darkness that they can experience. So if you can imagine like somebody having an experience that they really get into the ego, an angelic spirit is going to reside in a location to hold a frequency in a balance. So there's light and darkness going on. And the thing about light and darkness is they are one. One is not greater than the other. So the angelic beings come to support the energy of the earth. Now, each one has a different role when they come here, but there can be earth angels that are connected to an archangel. There are humans that channel the archangels. There are humans that give messages from the archangels. There are those who work more so with one of the archangels. So Ariel or Michael or Raphael, like those type of archangels that are what we would consider in our understanding a little bit above the other angels. So they're the ones that might keep order of the angelic realm or support in different scenarios. Now, not every earthbound angel or earth spirit or angelic spirit actually is connected to archangel energy. It could simply be that these spirits are an angelic being coming into an earthly experience, and they are here with a purpose of teaching, healing, working with the animals. They're here holding a pure, loving presence for Earth. So when you get around somebody that is an Earth angel, you may notice they're not very judgmental. Or if they are, they have really deep conviction about it. Like they don't want to be judgmental. They could be associated with being very spiritual or really connected to God or prayer. Like they really are striving to be a servant of God in some type of way, whether that's through religion or not. There is something about them where they feel pulled and called to work as a light on the earth. So I believe that there have been times I have met earth angels that actually came to support me on my path to get me on track if I've been off track. And they may not even have known that that's what they had done for me. But sometimes earth angels come to help humans kind of navigate their life and teach them, how do you trust yourself? How do you move forward in this experience that you're here to have? So that is a angelic spirit that might come to earth to have an experience here, to hold light and frequency. Another thing I will say about the angelic spirits that come is that there is a saying that goes around the spiritual community, and this is just my interpretation from my spirit team. But there is a saying that there are 144,000 beings on the earth that are called or chosen by God. And from my interpretation and working with the spirit realm, they have explained to me that there have always, since the beginning of the earth, there have always been at least 144,000 earth angels on the physical realm of earth holding the frequency of light, because that number for some reason in the universe is capable of keeping balance between the light and darkness that we experience here on earth. So throughout the entire earth, in any country, in any place, you will find someone that is an earth angel. Now, there's likely more than that, but that is the number that my spirit team has given me, that there are constant, always going to be at least 144,000 earth angels. Now, the next type of spirit that I want to talk about is the spirit that I most relate with, and this is a interdimensional spirit. So, interdimensional spirits are a little bit more complicated to explain, just because they have frequencies that reside in multiple dimensions. So, and this is based on my interpretation of what my spirit team has told me and explained to me about my own unique situation. And I am not the only one that is like this. There are other interdimensional oriented humans that you may call a hybrid, or somebody that is connected to another star system, or drawn to the stars, or drawn to something beyond the earth experience. So if you grew up looking at the stars, wondering about what else is out there, thinking about UFOs, wondering about aliens, being really curious. Maybe you never felt like you fit in here on Earth. Maybe you have physical symptoms in your body. Maybe you have allergies, maybe stomach problems. Maybe you have had a hard time making friends here on Earth. Maybe you've kind of always stuck out. There's all kinds of different things that can show up when you are an interdimensional spirit. But to explain how this is happening is, we'll go back to this big ball of light that I was talking about before. And this ball of light, your oversoul, is, like I said, creating multiple like, the only way that I can in a simple term explain this is there's lightning strikes coming out of it all over the place. And the lightning strike, from our perspective, feels very long. Like, it's been here for, for me, my lightning strike has been on Earth now for 46 years. And who knows how long it will be here. But to our higher self's consciousness, it's boom, it's in and out. Like, our experience from our higher self perspective is very fast. It's not like drawn out like our human understanding. So that oversoul has created a part of itself that moves into one realm, which could be a planetary system or an extraterrestrial being. So it could be an Arcturian, it could be a Dromedan, it could be a Palladian, it could be a Gray. There's all kinds of different experiences in the different realms and planetary systems that your oversoul could be projecting itself into and having experience. For me, I am an Octarian, so there's a part of my soul that resides in the Octarians, and then my oversoul also projects itself into the human experience. So if you can imagine, there's two frequencies coming out of my higher self, but the difference with this that might not be with like an earth-bound soul or angelic soul, according to what my spirit team has told me. I could be wrong on this. And like, spirit team is also kind of showing me a little bit that angelic beings might be like this as well. But what is taking place is the oversoul projects itself into the Octarian experience and into the human experience. But what has happened between the Octarian experience and my human experience is there's a frequency connecting. So if you imagine a triangle has taken place with my higher self, my Octarian self, and then my human self. So there's a frequency from the Octarian being that my soul is residing in, projecting itself into my human experience. So I'm both human and extraterrestrial. I'm both human and Octarian. And so this is why my whole life I haven't ever felt like I fit in as a human. I've always been weird. I've always been very spiritual. I've always seen things and heard things and believed in things that other people didn't believe in. I had experiences with seeing UFOs in the sky growing up. My mom had experiences with UFOs. Like, there's been this continued experience beyond the physical realm, beyond the human experience that my life has had. But as a interdimensional spirit, those who come from another star system might be considered to be a volunteer, or a hybrid being that comes to support and help the ascension of Earth. And these beings have been coming in more and more and more over the last 50 to 60 years. It's not that they haven't been coming to Earth prior to that, but there haven't been as many. There's been more and more and more of these coming into Earth. And the thing is Earth has always had this. Humans were created by extraterrestrials. And so every human has a little bit of alien in them, you may say. But the spirit, that what I'm talking about is the spirit part of the human, could either really be connected to another star system or just connected to being an earthbound spirit. So, as an extraterrestrial or interdimensional spirit, for myself, and I'm sure those of you that reside or resonate with this, we're here to anchor, build, stabilize, and experience, and to bring an energetic frequency to Earth to help the ascension. So some interdimensional spirits simply just come to live on Earth. They don't teach, they don't heal, they don't do anything. They are just here to hold frequency for the Earth to transform. And by being here, so it's simply, it could be a lot like an angelic being. So, which I will say some of the angels are also extraterrestrials. I can go into that with another thing, but I have heard that Archangel Michael is an Octarian. So I often work with Archangel Michael, but he also represents the angelic realm more so than the extraterrestrial realm. So this can get really confusing. But to keep these things separate, just talking about being a multi-dimensional soul, there's a bridge that takes place between the higher dimensional part of me and the lower dimensional part of me. So the earthbound part of me, the Octarian part of me. And there's communication going between these two beings. So my higher self presents itself as a female in that Octarian form. So she calls herself Annabelle. She has introduced herself to me before. And Annabelle, being an Octarian, communicates to me and helps guide me here on Earth as Angie. We work together. I can channel Annabelle. Annabelle works with a team within that dimension that she's from. And I kind of report back to that dimension through my soul, through the frequency of Annabelle, what is taking place on Earth and how Earth's doing with its ascension. So, interdimensional souls can come here with the purpose of being a teacher, being a healer, being a someone that transmutes and changes the energy of Earth. They are very intuitive. They're very, they can struggle with being in a physical body. I've always struggled with being in a physical body. Lots of allergies, lots, maybe having like an immune system thing, or like your body kind of feels like it's fighting against itself sometimes. So those who are interdimensional spirits really have to be careful about how they eat, what they interact with, and how they engage with the world around them. And it might be really hard for them to be in certain settings that hold certain frequencies, or in large crowds, that kind of thing. So this is just simply because the energy in which an interdimensional spirit comes from is lighter than the human experience. It doesn't have as much density. So squeezing in that kind of energy into a physical body can be difficult. But the teachers, such as myself, that come into the earth realm as an interdimensional spirit, we're here to actually have a human life, but we're here to teach others on earth who they are. I'm here to bring a higher understanding. I'm here to reconnect you with your higher conscious mind. I'm here to connect you back to source energy, to God. I'm here to remind you that you are the creator of your reality. I'm here to remind you that you can let go of karma and heal, and to get humans out of the loop of karma as well. Like, one of the reasons that I came to earth is to clear karma by teaching how to clear that through healing. And it's also why I was in the mental health field for so long. But I also have never married or had children. And my higher self and my spirit team have explained to me, because that is not what I came to do. I did not come to experience a human life in the fullest, like maybe an earthbound spirit. I came to be a teacher and a guide. And therefore, for me to remain on that path of work, I have remained single and childless to have my focus on that particular mission. It doesn't mean that I can't have a relationship if I desire it, but I also have a very deep connection of intimacy with my purpose and calling. Like, I have been pulled toward this calling in my life, and know if I got off track, then the universe would pull me right back into that. So in the future, there's a possibility to have a relationship, but I have to have an aligned relationship that is going into the same places that I'm here to walk into and to teach. And I see all of you as children. I see my work as my intimacy. So I'm not lonely. I'm not sad. I don't feel um, like I'm missing out on anything, because I do feel like I'm completing a mission while I'm here on earth that is not necessarily connected to the physical part of being a human. So I'm not leaving karma behind by having a child or passing down something to another human that then will continue to work on something. And it's not that those of you who have children are passing karma down. It's that there is a cycle that is being cleared at this time, where if you are doing healing work, you are helping your children to be raised a little bit more healthy. And therefore, the path forward into the ascension, moving into a 5D energy, less and less karmic energy is being shared among the different generations. And therefore, the consciousness of humanity rises into unity and love more than it has in the past. So there is a difference between a multi-dimensional spirit or an interdimensional spirit and an earthbound spirit and an angelic spirit. But they all play a part. They're all important. There's no better or less than in this situation. So let me know which one you relate with, and if you maybe learned something new. I could talk on and on and on about this. This is just a little bit of what I have been told about the different spirits. And I could tell you about a whole bunch of other different kinds of spirits that also reside on Earth. But that will be for next time. So until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.